My name is Vladimir. I lived in New York, San Diego, and now I live in Ithaca. I started a company in finance. We grew it from 2 people to 150 using a lot of automation, AI, machine learning, and then we sold it to another big company. I then decided that I would like to join something else and focused on space and robotics. And we started a company which was building satellites to look at other satellites because it's really hard to look at the satellites from the ground because relatively they are very, very small when they're in orbit, and the ground telescopes cannot see through the atmosphere and get them clearly. So we started that company and we launched 2 satellites, which are able to see other satellites in space. I got my MBA, and then
Someone just tell me, why is it important to know about a chatbot? You all must be using chatbots, so anyone can raise their hand and tell me why it's important? Yeah, Mansi.
Yeah, I think a chatbot provides quick, accessible support, making information and assistance readily available anytime. It is it is easy to access. It reduces stress,
Absolutely,
makes life
absolutely.
easier.
And yeah, go on.
Yeah, I just said it makes life easier.
Absolutely. Now, so what we just to tell you one thing that our mentors are very esteemed people who join us, and sometimes they are short of time or their schedule doesn't permit to for them to match our schedule. So today is an exception, and we are having the class a little early at 5 o'clock India time. So without wasting any more time, we would like to call in Vlad to start the workshop. Vlad, are you there?
yes, I am.
We are building the chatbot, but why? And what can chatbots do? How they'll be helpful in a business? Because these
Of
are
course.
entrepreneurs. As entrepreneurs, how will a chatbot help them?
Yes, and we also heard some of the good examples from the students, what the chatbots are used for and what they will use for. Um,
Yes.
Probably most of the people on the call have used an example of chatbot like ChatGPT or Claude from Anthropic. And what you usually use the chatbots for is to retrieve some information that has been loaded in unstructured manner into the chatbot, out of which through questions you can ask for easy explanations. So for example, we have a very long Wikipedia page that I will load from Silicon Valley. And the types of questions that we will be able to ask would be, hey, can you please summarize the top 3 things from that whole Wikipedia
Can
page?
we see a chatbot here, Vlad, before we go ahead? If you can
Um,
share
I,
the screen.
I can share a chat GPT chatbot, which is ready to go right now. So, and I can say, tell me the history of Silicon Valley in 3 bullet points. And what I'm doing here, this is what's called uh, a, a prompt, which then goes into the data that is available to the chatbot and pulls out the key points for each of the stories that I would like to convey. As far as entrepreneurship and as far as business building, why this is important. Chatbots automate a lot of aspects that we humans do manually. In order for somebody to go through all the different articles on Wikipedia about Silicon Valley, organize them all together, figure out all the key points of Silicon Valley's history, and organize them neatly in 3 different paragraphs, it will take a lot of time. So having a chatbot is a big time and cost savings for the business, which automates a lot of human labor, which is very costly. So let's talk about parts of getting the startup off the ground. While there is a big belief that you need to start with an idea or with a technology in order to get your company off the ground, every single business starts with a need first, right? We need to go to eat. So then somebody comes up with idea, let's start a restaurant, and then we're going to automate that restaurant with robotic chefs. But always think that the need of a client is where every single business starts. So if you have no ideas, it's actually not a problem. Go ask around your future clients, who anybody who could it be, what their problems are. Are there problems in transportations? Are there a problem with their computers? Are there problems in their restaurants or their family farms? What are those problems? And then you can start thinking about ideas how to solve those problems. Okay, so let's move on, talk a little bit about machine learning. There are different parts, and this is part of the chatbots that we're going to talk later. There are different parts about AI and machine learning, and what are those? So artificial intelligence in general, it's something that can work without humans touching it and answer our questions, crunch our numbers, or make some predictions. Machine learning is a set of algorithms that is based on analysis of a little bit of data that goes through the neural networks and comes out with answers without us actively programming it. We program it through data. Deep learning is similar to machine learning, but when you use billions and trillions of pieces of data to make the machine think for itself. Some of the examples of applications of artificial intelligence is neural nets for face recognitions. You can see that some of the first steps that need to happen, machine needs to identify where the face is in the picture, because it could be anywhere. It gets zoomed in, cropped in. Then vertices and polygons get identified so you can build a virtual mockup. That virtual mockup gets shaded and reapplied back to the face. It's stretched out. So you can see that this face is not the same, it's stretched out. And once it's stretched out, it gets applied as a pattern to the mockup that they had before. And then you can run it through the facial algorithm, facial recognition algorithm to figure out who the person is. Here are some of the famous people in AI and machine learning. Some of the names might be familiar to you, like Elon Musk or Greg Brockman or Andrew Ng. One person here is missing is Fei Li. She's the one who came up with ImageNet. And Andrei Karpathy, it was one of the key developers of ChatGPT. All right, now we're jumping into more of a practical aspect of our call, where we're going to build our own chatbots. What are those? Right, so I'm sure all of you have used chatbots like ChatGPT or Anthropic or Perplexity. Chatbots are large language models. They're class of deep learning algorithms that we talked about before that consume vast amounts of data, as big as Wikipedia, as big as a Library of Congress, as big as all the libraries in the world. It's able to parse all of those words in all the different languages, make connections, and then produce sentences. You think, how does it do that? It works on statistical probability of what the word can follow next in a sentence. When it looks at bodies of text that it extracted from other libraries, it looks at what words follow each other. What does hello follow? It's usually hello, name. There's a high probability that after hello, you'll have a name, or hello, cat or dog will probably have a very low probability. It puts all those probabilities together and generates a big algorithm that it needs to run on very powerful machines in order to generate next word. Here are some examples of chatbots that are out there that I mentioned. ChatGPT, Google Bard, which is now Gemini, Claude from Anthropic, which was acquired by AWS, Bing, which is from Microsoft, and also Ort AI, which I think is the difference here is it's decentralized, and then there's a Llama model from Facebook, which is open source. Before we go forward, I would like to ask a question. When you're going to build your own chatbot, what would you like to use it for? And I'm going to ask a few people on the call to answer that question. So who would like to answer the question, what
So
they would like to
Pratham
use their
has
chatbot
raised
for?
his, yeah, Pratham has
Okay,
raised his hand, and
Yeah,
Prat,
am
Kavish.
I audible?
go ahead, Pradam, you're audible.
Yeah, so I have my own clothing website, like a clothing brand with its own website, and I need customer care because I'll be in school for 6, 7 hours. So I'll be using this chatbot and feeding it with most asked questions so that it can answer them directly without me having to interfere for most of the questions and make my life easy.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Maxim?
Yes, this is not related, but our coordinator has just informed me that one kid did not receive an email and he's waiting to join the call. Should I tell you the email?
Yeah, so if you can put it into the chat,
Yes,
we'll be
okay.
able to send the invite to that
Okay,
student.
okay. Thank you.
Kavish, go ahead.
So basically, I'll be using AI chat box, uh, feeding them with information with the most asked questions, customer problems, return, and etc. for management. And instead of hiring teams of management to manage return packages and customers, I'll be using the chat box to ensure not only am I cutting costs, but I have a 24/7 support.
Okay, awesome. Then we have Muncie.
We can use chatbot for education, mental well-being, for reducing stress levels, and we can take help from it, yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody else has ideas about chatbots? How are you going to use your chatbot once we're going to build it?
No more
Okay,
raised hands. Yeah.
no more raised hands, yes. Okay, so let's actually switch the screen to here. What we're all going to do right now is going to navigate to the website called BotSonic, and I will put that URL into our chat. So if you don't want to type it, you can do that. It should greet you with this window. And go ahead and sign up by clicking the link here. Was everybody able to navigate to the website and click the sign up? Once you're there, click on sign up. And fill out your information, please. And once you have done so, would you mind just putting thumbs up in the chat box? Sorry, in the chat, so I can see who is doing what.
Maxim, have you raised your hand again? Or
Sorry, it was by accident.
all right, okay, okay.
Okay, if you haven't signed up, please do so. I see 2 thumbs ups. See a couple more thumbs up. So let's do 5 more and we'll start moving on to next slide.
Yes, we've got them.
1, 2. Excellent, excellent. So I'll go ahead and sign up for myself. Okay. What we would like to do next is identify websites or bring your own documents where we're going to be pulling the training data for your chatbot. All chatbots have to have a source of information on which they get trained on. In your case, I heard some ideas. You can pull in that information. So if you have customers' questions and answers, have to upload that document into here, and I'll show you how in a second. Alternatively, what you can also do is, let's say you pick your school, you go to your school's website, and you take that website URL and copy that. So that could be your start. What I will do, I will actually create a chatbot about Silicon Valley. And if you want to follow with this example, we can do that together. Alternatively, you can figure out your own websites where we're going to be pulling information from. So we're looking for websites which have a lot of data, text data, that the chatbot can be trained on. Does anybody have any questions on that? So you're basically looking for a URL like this or any other URLs that contain a lot of data. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? There are two websites that we're working on right now, right? So there is the bot Sonic. If you missed the URL, I'll reshare that. Okay. Okay, so somebody already shared. You can register there. And then the secondary URLs that you need URLs for data that you'll be training. And I'm going to share it again. You need URLs, and this could be any URLs. It could be any websites that have a lot of data. One example could be a website of your school, of your school's history. Another example, which I will be doing here on the screen, will be a history of Silicon Valley website. But you can do any other yourself. Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to go ahead, and hopefully everybody's seeing the same screen. We're going to go ahead and create bot. You can name your bot however you want. It could be chat support bot. It could be my do my homework bot. It could be a Silicon Valley. Chat bot. And press create. Okay. It will greet you with this setup. This is not super important for us. We can go ahead and click on sources. If anybody, so we're resuming our setup, and the place that we'll want to go is this place called sources. And when you're there, go ahead and bring in your URL into add individual links and press submit. For some of you, it's going to be one URL. For others, it's going to be multiple URLs. But you can go, and let me actually show you how to do that with multiple URLs. So I'm going to use this URL, and I'm going to paste into add individual links and submit. Then I will probably put in another one from the government website. Well, actually, it's a PDF, so but I'm not sure if that's going to work. Let's do this one. Okay. So I have 3 URLs. Some of you may have 1, some of you may have 3, some of you may have 10. Okay. Once those URLs are added, we're waiting for this watch glass to finish up, because what the system is doing, it's training its internal machine on this data. Is anybody not getting the weighting? Is anybody not training? Kavish has 2,000 URLs. That's a big number. Not sure if it's going to be able to finish training in the time we have. Abdul is asking, what is this app called? This app is called BotSonic. So if you have already joined us and clicked on the URL, BotSonic, you were able to register and then add all the different URLs for the data.
Does anyone
And we're
have any
waiting.
questions here? Is everyone clear? Any questions here?
Yeah, this might be a little bit fast for some of you, which is great. Perhaps you have any other questions about BotSonic and how does it work? Jarvin also have 2,000 URLs. Jarvin, do you want to talk about your chatbot? Why do you have 2,000 URLs?
Yeah, Jevin, can you unmute and tell us why you have 2000 URLs? Okay. Reaction also has a question.
Okay,
Reaction, you can.
go ahead. Jakshana.
We can't hear you. Okay, Taiba is asking what is a URL?
Yep, I'm going to put it down. It's called Universal Resource Locator. It's the same thing as a web address. It's the same thing that is the text that is located in the address bar of your browser. Does that clear it up? Yeah, Dikshana, we can hear you better now.
So I just wanted to know how I can get the URL.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Can you be closer to the microphone?
How do I get the URLs?
Yeah, so why don't you pick a subject of interest, something that you like. Could be startups, could be engineering, could be fashion, and find a Wikipedia page which talks about that topic.
Okay.
That Wikipedia page will have a lot of text. So you're looking for the website which has a lot of text. And once you find that website, you can click into the address bar and copy the URL, the actual web address, and that's going to be your training set of data.
Okay. Thank you.
Marco is asking, how long does the training process going to take? I think it depends on the data that we've picked. If it's a long piece of data or a short piece of data, sometimes it takes a little bit time, sometimes it takes a lot of time, but it's not going to take hopefully hours. So we're able to test out our chatbots. All right.
Tycoon,
Go ahead.
anyone, Maxim? Yeah, Tycoon, can you please?
I wanted to ask if, say, I want to make a customer service bot, right? So, what kind of links should I be taking?
Yeah, so couple things that you might want to keep in mind. If you have a business already that you want to start, let's say you're in business of selling hats, right? Hats, baseball caps. You want to find a website which talks about how the history of the hats came about, what kind of different hats are out there. You want to find a website which has a lot of text of those kinds of objects. Because then when your customers come to your website and you have this chatbot available, they might have questions. Hey, why is this blue or why is this red? Why is the shape of this hat this way? And instead of you personally jumping on a call and talking to them, the chatbot will answer the questions for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and do you know where you can find those websites?
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? Or perhaps I'm really curious. Actually, Kavish also says that you have 2,000 URLs. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
So basically, I'm in the clothing industry where we make suits for people, from suits, salwars, and kurtas.
Yeah.
So we need an intricate chatbot which helps the customer understand what their size is, different kinds of suits, how they can change sizes, how to use pins to change sizes, etc., and how to suit dress properly while wearing a suit. So I pasted our website, and it has 2,000 URLs processing at the moment.
Wow. Have any of them finished processing already?
No.
Okay. Can anybody
Uh,
tell me? Go ahead.
yeah. So can you ask Philip or also someone from Macedonia? Are you clear with what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm clear with everything, but I just want to point out that I also had about 316 URLs to process. So I pasted a new link so I can
Yeah.
see if I get something less than 300.
Maybe that is why everybody is waiting for training to complete.